What is going on? This is episode 691 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VL Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. The Atlanta Falcons and Georgia Southern both win ugly. They get ugly wins, but a win is a win. We also going to talk about Bjian Robinson, his limited play. Now, I got a little theory behind that. Hopefully, you guys will, follow me on this one because I think it makes a lot of sense. But we'll get into that. So really quick, just go right into it. If this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I want to thank you guys for the support. You guys have been absolutely amazing supporting the show. I cannot thank you guys enough. I can be found on Twitter or X at VFBaller, and the website is firstandframerates.com. You can go over there and actually sign up to subscribe to any of the podcast avenues, or also subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also you can support the show. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. The Falcons won 16-13 in ugly fashion, very ugly fashion. 3 turnovers in the red zone. A lot of people are blaming Desmond Ridder, which looking back at it now, the only one I blame him for is the one when he tried to nonchalantly walk into the end zone. The fumbled snap, I guess you could say that it was on him. It could have been on the center. Who knows? But nevertheless, those two happened. Now, the other one, the sack fumble, I don't blame that on nobody but Caleb McGarry. Like, where's Storm Norton? Like, where is he? Like, he played so good the other game, and now he's not playing. But, it's weird. But other than that, the game itself was pretty much dominated by the Falcons. The Falcons did pretty good at limiting, Mike Evans after that one touchdown catch. Other than that, I mean, their offense really did nothing. Shout out to the Falcons defense. They are absolutely legit. And outside of, it was an ugly win because we should have blew this team out. This game should have been like a 27 or, 34-10 win. We should have beat this team handily. But we did get the win. We walk out of Raymond James Stadium and get ready for the Titans. We're going to go up to Nashville. And that's pretty cool. We're first in division, and we got a chance to actually extend this for a while now because the next 3 games, I mean, to be honest with you, I was kind of worried and nervous because we only have 4 home games, and we play a lot better at home. But the next 3 games, or next 4 games, actually, you're looking at Titans, Vikings, Cardinals, and Saints. Home, away, go back and forth. But these are winnable games. I mean, I thought this. You're starting to kind of see, if you look at the way this defense plays and you limit the turnovers, which really the only turnovers that I really can say that that could really be avoided is the one with the Desmond ran into the end zone, and you just got to block better as well, Caleb McGarry. But if you limit the turnovers, you're pretty much looking at a 5-game win streak, win 3 out of the next 5, win 4 out of the next 5. Where win 3 out of the next 4. I mean, you look at the schedule. I mean, it's doable because of the defense. So you're looking at a situation where by the time, by the time Thanksgiving come, this team could be 8-3. You know what I'm saying? At the most, they could be 8-3 by the end of December. That would be insane, and nobody would have saw that coming. Now, I said it on record that this team could have been 14-3 with quarterback play, good quarterback play, and I stand by that because this defense is good as advertised. The running game is good as advertised. The blocking up front could be a little bit better, but the quarterback play is pretty much the reason why. I would say the quarterback play is the reason why we lost at least 2 of our 3 games. So I mean, the Lions game was just, that game was just atrocious because of the offensive line. But you look at but the Jaguars, and you look at the Commanders game, that was clearly on the quarterback, in my opinion. So you clean that stuff up for the next 4 weeks. We could be sitting really pretty at the end of November. Like, I mean, we got the Saints at home, we got the Vikings at home, In the 2 away games, you have the Titans and the Cardinals. And they're not easy games, but they're winnable games. So that's why I thought us winning this game against the Buccaneers meant a lot. It's one of the reasons, because first in the division, over 500, and you can pick yourself up and be on a roll. And a lot of people may not be with me on this, but look, Desmond Ridder, he's going to have to play a little bit better. He plays a little bit better, and I know he made some great plays down the stretch. He's done some good things. He's thrown the ball pretty well, last game at least. But you limit those turnovers. I mean, like I said, the end of November, 8-3. It's a possibility. And I don't like to look that far ahead, but it's a possibility. I mean, like, seriously, just clean up the quarterback stuff. Now, when we go to Georgia Southern has an interesting take in front of them, which we'll talk about that shortly. But the second quarter of the UL Monroe game, they gave up 24 points in the second quarter, which was absolutely – no, I'm sorry, I take that back. And, we scored 24 points in the second quarter, which is absolutely insane. But we end up giving back 14 in the third and fourth quarter. And that can't happen. This is another game that we should have beat this team by at least 30 points. This game should have been a blowout. But nevertheless, the Eagles let them hang around. And shout out to Tyrell Davis with the pick 6. If you're looking at this on the screen, him walking into the end zone, phenomenal play at the end, having a heads up to catch that tip ball and walk into the end zone for a touchdown to seal the game, 38-28. And it was an ugly win as well, because this should have been another cruising victory similar to the Ball State game, but we had to make it interesting. Now we're going to have to go up against a team which actually, I guess you can call it a push. It could go either way, but the ESPN slightly have us winning this game. I guess it's because of home field advantage. And this game is a lot similar. It's closer than what it is. And I'm going to do a whole episode on the Southern, not State, whole rivalry situation, because this is a huge game for both teams. I mean, Georgia State already has bowl eligibility, and Georgia Southern, they get one more win in this bowl eligibility. So this could be a big deal. It actually have implications who can possibly win the Sun Belt East. So this is a huge game. Georgia Southern don't need to do much outside of what they're normally doing. I think Georgia Southern has done a phenomenal job throughout the season. The main thing is Davis Brin just going to have to clean up the interceptions. We threw 2. I think he threw 2 in this last game, and that's too many. I mean, he's going to have to do a little bit better. And even with the Monroe game, I mean, he threw, did he throw an interception in not the Monroe game, but the James Madison game, he had 2 interceptions, and then you go back and you look at, the Wisconsin game, you see what happened there. We need a game that we need him just to tighten things up. If he does that, we're going to be in good shape. Other than that, we win the game 38-28. It wasn't pretty. Defense bailed them out. Defense bailed both of these teams out, and for the most part. And it is what it is. I mean, you can't win all games on offense alone. We would like for that to be the case, because we hold the ball more than the defense. We shouldn't have to rely on the defense to do too much. When we have a dominant defense, it makes it much better. The Falcons are a product of it. And there are times when Georgia Southern has, times when they played pretty good defense. You have to understand that they've been pretty much on point all season. I mean, they played very good against Coastal Carolina, even though they gave up 28 points. I'll think for the most part, they've made plays when it counted. You still have the UAB game when they gave up 35, the James Madison game when it was non-existent. UL Monroe, I don't know what to think about that game. I don't think the defense was too bad, but it was just a point where the offense had to do something, because they just let these guys get in the game in the second half. So I think the defense will just continue to do what they do, which is, bend, don't break. And the offense just need to dog walk everybody when they come on the field. They just need to run through everybody. I mean, it's not hard to do with an offense as high powered as this. And hopefully with the power of Paulson, and if we can pack Paulson, we can really make this difficult for Georgia State. It's going to be a phenomenal game, coming up. It's going to be a really good one. one of the bigger games in the in all of college football, to be honest with you. Modern day hate. A lot of people don't understand this rivalry, even our own fans. Or I ain't say our own fans, but I'll say some of the fans and players. I think they're starting to weed out a little bit. A lot of the guys who have graduated and moved on. Some of those guys was talking like they didn't think this was a rivalry, but I think some of these kids with the new kids are coming in, they're starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, Georgia State, these guys are formidable. They're very respectable. You gotta, take them serious. And this year, last year I didn't think they were a good team at all, and they beat us. We didn't handle our business, but this year they're very legit. So gonna have to bring an A game going down to Paulson, and we're gonna have to make things happen. I think if we have anything like the Coastal Carolina game, I think we'll be good money. Now, last but not least, we're gonna talk about Bijan Robinson. Let me give you my thoughts about Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan Robinson was held out of the game for other reasons. They probably got some word, or they probably had some caution that Bijan Robinson could have probably got roughed up a little bit in the game. I'm almost certain that was the case. Bijan Robinson has been making people look crazy throughout this entire season. Some of the moves that he's been putting on some guys, or whatever the case may be. This is a rivalry game. Don't want to be showing up at home at Tampa. So I believe personally, I'm almost certain that this was the case. My gut feeling that Coach Arthur Smith kept him out of the game on purpose. I wish they would have never said that it was an injury related. I would have just told the reporters or anybody, just said, hey, look, it was a scheme, decision. We wanted to run a different scheme, put Bijan in every now and then, but we wanted to limit his carries, because the scheme didn't call for it. That's what I would have said. For them to say he's not feeling well, maybe he wasn't. I'm not going to say he wasn't. It just makes it seem suspect, because now the NFL is about to start looking at the whole, how this protocol was followed as far as Bijan Robinson, health. You didn't really want to use him as a healthy scratch. I don't think that would have been ideal, but at the same time, you would have put it out there, just say, look, it just wasn't going to work with the way the Bucks front seven was. We decided to use him as a decoy, have him out there and just to, show face, maybe let him touch the ball 2 or 3 times. But these are the two things that was a problem. For them to say he wasn't feeling well and him to run the ball on the last play of the drive, not the last play of the drive, but the one play on the last drive. And you actually even look at that play, it looked like it wasn't even a play where it was trying to do anything. They were just moving the ball. They moved it for 2 or 3 yards, and that was it. And he ran right back out of the lineup. Other times that he was in the game, he wasn't necessarily being used. I just think that Dick should have just been using the scenario like our play calling against this team didn't call for it. And I think they would have been, a lot better off. Another thing before I get out of here, because I know I'm running a little bit longer than usual, I think what has happened was Arthur Smith probably never really wanted to use Bijan as much as he did in the beginning of this season. But Bijan was so good, it was pretty much a necessity, because he played very well. Coach Arthur Smith don't use rookies that much. Even when you look at, let's say, for instance, when Drake London came in, or, even when Kyle Pitts played, but, Kyle Pitts was a little different because of what happened with Calvin Ridley. You had to use him. But when you have, like, most rookies, they kind of sit them back a little bit. Even it doesn't matter when you're picked. But, they usually come on later on in the season. It's kind of like what happened with Drake London. He came on later in the season of last year. And I think he's trying to still use that philosophy. But I feel that if you're going to use it, you should actually use it to a point where it's not as obvious, because you put yourself out there saying that he's not feeling well, but, you let him run the ball on the last drive of the game. You really have to do a little bit better job of that, because now, like I said, the NFL is looking down on the protocol. What happened here? I'm not. I personally, I can care less if they use Bijan in this way or whatever the case. I don't care about touches or touchdowns. I'm not a fantasy football guy or better. I'm just calling shenanigans because it's not what they said it was, and I just want to win games. And with the luxury of having Cordell Patterson, the luxury of having Tyler Algier, really help matters for Bjian Robinson. And to be honest with you, I would not have been surprised if they did more of that and have Bijan on the outside, like in the slot or whatever, where you don't have to worry about him running between the tackles because he's been getting hit pretty good throughout this season. And he's your number 8th pick, and he's a special talent. You don't want to wear him down so early in his career. I would like to see this guy have a 7, 8, 9, 10-year career of doing this type of stuff, and he can walk off in the sunset, in a healthy shade or in a healthy light. That's just how you want it to be. In my opinion, that's how I would want it to be. But I'm going to get out of here. I think I said too much. Wait, I'm looking at this here. Wait a minute. Appalachian State is 3-4. Wow. Man, they're going to fire that coach. Wow. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you think about all these topics that I talked about. The Falcons, the Eagles, Bijan Robinson. What are you guys' thoughts? I can be found on YouTube and Rumble once again. I'm also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. The website is firstandframerates.com, and most stuff that don't make it to the show, or I talk about stuff from my gaming channel, is on Twitter or X. You can follow me there at VFBaller. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Peace.